Alright, hello YouTube, what is going on? So today we have my 1998 Accord in the bay today, and we are going to be doing a little bit of an experiment. Now it's hard to get the full car in frame just because there's no room, but anyway, the main premise of this is, obviously I got the car repainted and everything, but shortly after that I was monitoring the oil levels, and I've concluded that over, two intervals, I guess, that this car is burning or losing 1 quart of oil every 300 miles apparently, and so that's pretty freaking bad. And I'm fairly certain it's burning it because my friend Chris, he rode behind me in this car once, and he said that when I gas it, the blue smoke comes out of the exhaust pipe. So I honestly think the piston rings are just worn in this engine. But before I succumb to the reality that this engine and, well, transmission too, I guess, is toast, and I need to replace both of those, I wanted to try putting some thick ass oil in there. So that is what we are going to be doing. We are going to be we're going to be putting in some thick ass oil. So what do we have here? So we have the Castrol GTX high mileage, and this is 20W-50, so this is pretty thick stuff. And basically, I have this recommendation from a couple of friends that have cars with over 200,000 miles on them, and one of them buys and sells cars quite a lot, and he said that, yeah, any car with over 200,000 miles, I put 20W-50 oil in it because, they just either burn it too much or it leaks out too much. So, yeah, obviously this isn't really recommended. I wouldn't do this in a car that isn't burning oil or otherwise having any other problems, but honestly, I figure at this point, I really do not have much to lose with this car. The engine is already kind of fucked up, so, putting some thick oil in it, even if it blows up, I don't really have, I would have had to, repair or replace it anyway. So we're just going to be doing that. I just did an oil change on this car a couple 100 miles ago, so we're literally just going to be draining the oil, not the filter, because that was just changed. And yeah, we're going to see how this goes. I wanted to get this on video because, I don't know, it's kind of interesting, and I kind of wanted to see what would happen. So here we go. All right, so I went ahead and chalked one of the rear wheels with a metal weight just to, make sure that the car does not roll into my neighbor's yard once I jack it up. So, yeah, so now we're just going to go ahead and jack that shit up. Of course, you always want to use jack stands to, minimize the car killing you. All right, now we need to put some oil in it. So I can't hold the camera and do this at the same time. So just imagine with your mind. All right, well, if it blows up, you guys will be the first to know. Well, seems to be running just fine. Sounds pretty much exactly the same as it did with the 1030 in it. So, yeah, let me go ahead and close this hood. All right, so pretty much what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be driving this car at least 150 miles, and then I am going to report back and see what the oil level is. Obviously, I'm going to check it in a little bit before I take it out of here, but anyway, yeah, so I'm going to report back once I put some miles on the car, and we will see if the heavyweight oil helped the oil consumption at all. All right, so I honestly forgot I was even making this video, and so we're about at least a week or two late on finishing it out, but it gave me time to put a few 100 miles on the car and, allow me to update the results of this experiment. So obviously, you know, the thick oil has actually been making a pretty decent difference. But before I get to that, I'll go ahead and go over this because I know people are going to ask. I now have a portable garage in this location for the 98, which is where I normally park it. So that's nice to keep the dirt and stuff off the car, and it keeps it pretty much sealed from the elements as much as possible. And I also got my driveway paved, or we, meaning my dad and I, got the driveway paved. So this turnout and then around the corner over there is where I parked the 2017, and that whole area is paved now. So really freaking nice. Anyway, that's beside the point. The point is of this clip is the oil has actually been helping a lot. Now I'm gonna go ahead and pull the dipstick out and show you for yourselves, but first I'm gonna go ahead and put a picture of the dipstick shortly after, you know, I did the oil change. I didn't really put any miles on it at the time, but that's just kind of so I knew, you know, where it was on the dipstick to start with, and I checked it in this exact spot, so it should be completely 100% accurate. And I'll go ahead and put dipstick in, of course, and then we will look at it. So as you might be able to tell there, if it'll focus, there you go. It's in pretty much the exact same spot it was, you know, as the first picture, which was about 450 miles ago. So I can safely say that the 20W-50 oil has helped this engine out quite a lot. And I mean, you know, obviously this isn't going to fix your engine. In other words, it's not going to undo the wear that your engine has already undertaken. However, it definitely has helped quite a lot with the oil consumption, for me at least. Like I said, I've put almost 500 miles on it now, and the level hasn't really moved at all, where previously it was eating about a quart every 300 miles, it seems like. So obviously, you know, the engine is leaking a little bit too towards the bottom. I think the oil pan's leaking a little bit, but it's not enough to drip on the ground, so I don't think it's, you know, real enough to really influence the oil consumption a lot. But anyhow, I just want to sum this up and say this experiment has been quite successful for this car in solving, or at least, you know, helping the oil consumption. Of course, I will continue to monitor it the more that I drive this car, but this isn't my daily, so I don't put a ton of miles on it, so it'll take a little bit longer. However, so far, so good. So with that said, I'd like to thank you guys for watching this video. And yeah, if your car is burning a crap ton of oil and, you know, you don't really have the money or desire to actually fix it, in other words, rebuild the engine, I would suggest trying this, because at this point, you really don't have anything to lose, and it worked for me. So I'd like to thank you guys for watching this little experiment video, and I'm sorry it took so long to actually finish, but there you go. I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys later.